wind howled across the vast, open plains of late Cretaceous North America, carrying with it the scent of ancient earth and the promise of both danger and opportunity. Dust billowed in swirling eddies, painting the horizon in shifting shades of gold and ochre. Giant ferns and cycads, survivors from an even older world, swayed in the relentless gusts. Their fronds danced and shivered, casting restless shadows that flickered across the cracked, sun-baked earth. Each gust seemed to whisper stories of survival, adaptation, and the constant struggle for life. Far in the distance, a volcano puffed smoke into the sky, a silent but ever-present reminder of the raw, untamed power that shaped this land. Its gentle eruptions sent tremors through the ground, a heartbeat of the planet itself, echoing through the ages. This was a land of giants where every day was a test of strength and wit. Here, survival meant constant vigilance, and only the most resilient creatures could thrive. Shadows of enormous dinosaurs moved across the plains, each one a living testament to the age of reptiles. Out from a dense grove of ancient conifers, a lone Pachycephalosaurus emerged. Its head was held high, eyes sharp and alert, muscles rippling beneath its scaly hide as it stepped into the open. The creature paused, nostrils flaring as it tasted the wind, every sense attuned to the world around it. It moved with a quick bird-like gait, each step deliberate and precise. The Pachycephalosaurus scanned the horizon, searching for rivals, threats, or perhaps a mate. Its keen eyes missed nothing, always wary in this unpredictable world. From the opposite direction, a massive Triceratops lumbered into view. Each ponderous step sent vibrations through the ground, the earth itself seeming to acknowledge its presence. Its massive frame was a fortress of bone and muscle, built for both defense and dominance. The Triceratops lowered its head to graze, tearing at the tough prehistoric grasses. Sunlight glinted off its three formidable horns, a warning to any who might challenge its authority. Its frill cast a broad shadow, sheltering its eyes from the harsh midday sun. The Pachycephalosaurus spotted the giant across the plain. A spark of defiance lit its eyes, a silent challenge passing between the two titans. In this ancient world, every encounter could mean the difference between dominance and defeat. It let out a sharp, resonant call that echoed across the dusty plain, a bold declaration of its presence and intent. Dust swirled around its feet, caught in the force of its cry, as if the land itself responded to the challenge. The Triceratops slowly lifted its massive head, fixing the challenger with a steady, ancient gaze. Its eyes, deep and unwavering, spoke of countless battles fought and won, of wisdom earned through survival. Suddenly the wind fell silent. The entire plain seemed to hold its breath, a dramatic stillness settling over the land. Every creature, great and small, sensed the tension in the air, the calm before the storm. Now on this ancient stage, two giants faced each other. A clash of iron heads was about to begin, a battle that would echo through the ages, written in the dust and remembered by the land itself. Pachycephalosaurus, literally thick-headed lizard, was a marvel of natural engineering. Its skull was a 10-inch thick dome of bone, a living battering ram. Built for speed and agility, it darted on two powerful legs, its stiff tail balancing every move. Bony knobs and spikes crowned its head, adding intimidation and defense. This dinosaur's strategy was simple charge, headbutt, and hope to stun rivals or predators. Scientists believe these headbutts echoed for miles, settling disputes over mates or territory. Its entire being was built around that single, devastating move. Pachycephalosaurus was a specialist, courageous, but with only one trick up its sleeve. Opposite the nimble Pachycephalosaurus stood Triceratops horridus, the heavyweight of the Cretaceous. Weighing over 6 tons and stretching 30 feet, it was a living tank. 2 long brow horns and a shorter nose horn made its head a fortress of spears. A massive bone frill shielded its neck and shoulders, possibly flashing bright colors to warn rivals. Triceratops grazed peacefully, but when threatened it stood its ground, lowering its head, horns ready. Its strategy presented an impenetrable wall of horn and bone. It was the embodiment of defense and power, a gentle giant turned warrior in an instant. Its existence was a declaration of strength. This battle was speed versus strength, agility versus endurance. Pachycephalosaurus relied on hit-and-run tactics. Charge, strike, retreat. It aimed for flanks or legs, hoping for a decisive blow. High risk, high reward. A miss meant exposure to counterattack. Triceratops, in contrast, was a fortress, anchored, patient and unyielding. It absorbed blows with its frill, always keeping its horns between itself and danger. Its movements were deliberate, its defense nearly impenetrable. A rapier against a shield, the outcome was far from certain. The Pachycephalosaurus made the first move, lowering its head and charging with explosive speed. Its target, the Triceratops' flank, hoping to cripple the giant. The Triceratops calmly pivoted, presenting its armored head and horns. The Pachycephalosaurus, undeterred, braced for impact, its domed skull aimed at the frill. The collision was immense. A deep, resonant thump echoed across the plain. For a moment, the Triceratops barely budged, absorbing the blow like a stone wall. The Pachycephalosaurus was thrown back, dazed by its own attack. Its weapon had failed against the fortress. The Triceratops stood firm, unshaken. The challenger's confidence wavered. Stunned but determined, the Pachycephalosaurus circled its massive opponent, its eyes scanning for any sign of weakness. The prehistoric air was thick with tension as the two giants sized each other up, each movement calculated and deliberate. Every muscle in the Pachycephalosaurus's body tensed, ready to spring into action at the slightest opportunity. It feinted left, then darted right, trying to confuse the Triceratops with quick, unpredictable movements. But the Triceratops was no stranger to such tactics. With a steady, unwavering gaze, it tracked every motion, its massive frame shifting only slightly, but always keeping the Pachycephalosaurus in its sights. The patience of the horned giant was unbreakable, its resolve clear. Sensing a fleeting chance, the smaller dinosaur gathered its courage and gambled on a second, more desperate charge, this time aiming for the vulnerable front leg of the Triceratops. It hoped that speed and surprise would give it the upper hand, even if just for a moment. But as the Pachycephalosaurus surged forward, the Triceratops reacted instantly, lunging with surprising agility for its size. It lowered its massive head, horns gleaming in the sunlight, ready to meet the attack head-on. The Pachycephalosaurus ran straight into the formidable brow horn of its adversary. The horn caught its shoulder with devastating force, lifting the smaller dinosaur clean off the ground in a display of raw power. The impact was brutal and final, halting the charge in an instant. The sound of the collision echoed through the ancient forest, a reminder of the harsh realities of survival in this world. The Pachycephalosaurus crashed to the earth, pain radiating through its battered body. Dust and leaves scattered as it hit the ground, struggling to comprehend the force it had just endured. Sensing victory, the Triceratops advanced aggressively, pressing its advantage with every heavy step. Its dominance was clear, and it was determined to end the confrontation on its own terms. But the Pachycephalosaurus, though battered and bruised, refused to give in. With a tremendous effort, it scrambled to its feet, defiance burning in its eyes. It was battered, but not yet broken. Yet the fight had turned decisively against it. The odds were now overwhelming, and the smaller dinosaur knew it was outmatched by the sheer strength and determination of its rival. The Triceratops lowered its head once more, horns poised in a final, unmistakable warning. Its message was clear. Any further challenge would be met with even greater force. The time for games was over. In this ancient world, only the strongest and most cunning would survive, and both dinosaurs knew that the next move could mean life or death. Injured but unbroken, the Pachycephalosaurus stood its ground, battered yet resolute. Its sides heaved with each breath, blood matting its scaly hide, but its eyes burned with a fierce determination. Before it loomed the Triceratops, a living mountain of muscle and horn, casting a long shadow across the forest clearing. The air was thick with tension, every leaf and branch holding its breath for what would come next. The Triceratops pressed forward, horns lowered in a menacing display, its massive feet crushing the undergrowth beneath it. With a deep, rumbling bellow that echoed through the ancient trees, it announced its dominance, warning all who watched that this was its territory, and it would not be challenged lightly. The smaller dinosaur, though clearly outmatched, refused to back down. It reared back, muscles tensing, and let out a final, defiant cry. A sound that was equal parts pain and courage, echoing through the clearing as a testament to its unyielding spirit. Gathering what little strength remained, the Pachycephalosaurus braced itself for one last desperate charge. It lowered its thick, domed skull, preparing for a final headbutt, a last valiant stand against impossible odds, knowing full well the likely outcome. The Triceratops, undeterred and relentless, did not hesitate. It simply advanced, head down, its massive frill and horns acting as a living shield. With each step it ploughed through the ferns, unstoppable and unwavering, a force of nature bearing down on its challenger. The inevitable collision was brutal. The Pachycephalosaurus was knocked off its feet, sent tumbling helplessly into the dense greenery. Ferns and branches snapped beneath its weight as it crashed to the forest floor, the impact echoing through the silent woods. Dazed and defeated, the once proud challenger lay still, its body sprawled among the ferns. The fight had left it, replaced by exhaustion and pain. For a moment, the forest was silent, as if mourning the fallen. The Triceratops stood tall and victorious, its dominance now unquestioned. It surveyed the clearing, breathing heavily but triumphant, a true titan of its time. Yet, even in defeat, the Pachycephalosaurus's courage was undeniable. It had faced overwhelming odds with bravery, but the outcome had never truly been in doubt. In the end, the fortress had prevailed over the battering ram, strength and defense overcoming raw determination. The lesson was harsh, but clear for all who witnessed it. In this ancient world, only the strongest and most resilient would survive. As the herd of Triceratops moved on through the ancient forest, their leader standing guard, it was a reminder that in this world, power and defense ruled above all else. The Triceratops stood over its fallen rival, chest heaving. With a dismissive snort, it turned away, resuming its peaceful grazing. The Pachycephalosaurus, battered and humbled, limped back into the conifers. The Triceratops' victory was absolute. Defense and power had triumphed. The smaller dinosaur had learned the limits of courage and specialization, yet its spirit deserved respect. It fought with everything nature gave it. As the sun set, the Triceratops grazed, undisputed king of the plain. The wind whispered through the ferns, carrying the story of the clash. In the end, survival belonged to the strongest and the most steadfast. The legend of the Ironheads would echo through time.
Thanks for watching.